Despite inflation reaching its highest levels in 40 years, according to today's new CPI report, President Biden is saying otherwise. According to him, inflation is actually getting better, going down. In a statement he put out this afternoon, Biden said, quote, today's report, which shows a meaningful reduction in headline inflation over last month, with gas prices and food prices falling, demonstrates that we are making progress in slowing the rate of price increases. For a reaction, we turn to our friend, colleague, and the father of the Reaganomic tax policies, which led to the strongest sustained economic growth, I think it's fair to say, in American history, is Mr. Art Laffer. Art, great to see you. Thank you for coming. What did you make of President Biden's continuing denial that that inflation is accelerating?
His speechwriter should be fired, David. I mean, it's, the one thing you want to know from a president is you want to know the truth. You want to know it correct. The rate of inflation, even on a monthly basis this month, was what, 6+%? It was 0.5 for the month. Now, the reason it went up from last month is because the drop last year, 12 months ago, was much lower than this. So it went from 6.8 to 7, which is clearly exactly the opposite of what President Biden said. But even this month's number is not a good number by historical perspective. If it stayed at this rate for 12 months, the inflation rate would be 6%. Period.
Right.
That's not a good number, and that's not a good number that Biden wants to tout as being, whoa, we're making progress.
And there's signs
they're not making progress.
There are other signs.
It didn't get a lot worse this month.
Well, and there are other signs it could be getting worse too. The wholesale price number was horrible. It was 9.6%. That stuff, the wholesalers' prices eventually end up with the retailers. That ends up with the consumer. So it's looking like it is going to go up high. In fact, Kevin Hassett, our friend Kevin Hassett, said that he thinks we may be in double digits now.
Well, we may be. If you look at the monthly numbers, you look at the wholesale price index, which does precede the consumer price index. If you look at some of these volatile numbers, which I think you read, that Biden said that food prices rose much more slowly, and so did energy prices. Well, those will bounce back too, and that'll happen there. But I don't think Biden should be talking about these numbers being great numbers. It's a mistake. They're really
weird.
Awful numbers, and they might get worse. They really might get worse, and the speechwriter should be just shunned.
Well,
and fired.
it's like him saying that the border is closed, or that Afghanistan is going to be fine.
Yeah.
And I mean, it goes with so many things he's saying that seem to make him just totally out of touch with reality. And then you have the problem. He also said that there's plenty of stuff. The supply chain issues are clearing up. There's plenty of stuff in the stores. We are seeing tremendous shortages. I mean, Art, you and I have spent time in third world countries where we see inflation combined with shortages. It's beginning to look like that here.
Yeah, it's a riot because the politicians are the greatest brunt of jokes you can imagine, and this is a perfect reason why they are. Now, don't think it's just Democrat politicians that do these numbers and do this stuff. Republicans ones do too, but it is just crazy how these guys try to spin these numbers as if it makes any difference whatsoever.
The difference, there is a difference, though. There is a big difference between the old-style Democrat politicians, and Biden claims still to be one. He claims to be a capitalist, et cetera. But there are real attacks. I don't know of any other way to say it, on capitalism, on our free market system, on businesses coming from this administration. It seems like, the kind of radical stuff that you hear in economics courses at Columbia are being played out in policy now. I mean, these are actual attacks on our free market system that go beyond anything I've ever heard in America.
Well, we have had problems historically, too. I mean, to be very honest, when in 1945, the highest marginal income tax rate was 94%. In 1976, there was only one state that did not have a death tax. I mean, there are things we are getting better and things are moving better in the long run. This administration's not doing well.
We never nominated a Marxist to be controller of the currency, to be the chief regulator of banks. I mean, that's what we just did that, for goodness sakes.
You can't make this up, can
No.
you? It's just too good to be true. I mean, Biden is just the most entertaining president since Bill Clinton. And Bill Clinton was a darn good president, by the way. I want you to know I voted for him twice. But boy, was he entertaining. All those scandals and all that stuff.
Well, if you want to die laughing,
Saturday Night Live was great.
I'd prefer to stay alive laughing, not die laughing. By the way,
me too.
We talk
think
about
Biden's
capitalism
terrible,
and socialism, and while the Democratic Party has changed dramatically and turned very far to the left, the American public still has the same ratio of disdain for socialism and love of capitalism. From 2010 until now, it's been 60% in favor of capitalism, only 38% in favor of socialism. So that's remained the same. The American public has the same feeling about capitalism and socialism.
They sure do.
But the Democratic Party's lost it entirely.
Well, the one thing that also has changed, David, that is huge is Biden's approval ratings. His approval ratings have dropped through the floor. His disapproval have gone way up. And that's exactly what you're talking about. All of these gaffes and all of these policy mistakes and all of this horrible policies that he's proposing and wants to put in place. I mean, all anti-Reagan, every single one across line, from energy to minimum wage to unions to government spending, all of that stuff has made him one of the most unpopular presidents as quickly as imaginable. And, you know, this will only inure to the Democrats' disadvantage coming up. And it couldn't happen to a better group of policy makers, in my mind, than these guys who are just trying. And they know their policies are bad, and they're just trying to make the country worse.
Wow. Art Laffer, good to see you, Art. Thank you very much.
You're good, David.
From the
Thank
free
you very much.
state of Tennessee. We enjoy having you here.